Hello, welcome back. In the previous episode, I touched on the essential components that you need to incorporate into your cover letter to give a good first impression to the editor. Now, I'm going to give you some little tips on how to incorporate extra elements into your cover letter so it enhances its appeal and also makes it stand out from all the other cover letters that an editor has to go through every day of his or her job. So now, how do we go about doing that? Think about it. Yes, your results, your findings are novel, they are interesting. But the editor or whoever is reading your cover letter may not pick that up at first instance. So do not hesitate to actually highlight that to the reader. So if it's something that concerns recent issues in the media, especially if you are in social science research, say that, for example, given the considerable attention to climate change that has been received worldwide, it will therefore be important to this is the part that you bring in your study. Or if it's concerning a recent policy change, bring that in as well. Basically saying that, for example, a certain government has implemented new incentive, for example, to promote a certain behavior. So that's why you want to study this particular topic to see whether it's effective or not. Another way to highlight and to bring out the appeal of your study is to basically take a look at what has been done about the field and what has recently been published, and just say that how your particular study and your findings will further add to the literature, or on the other hand, how it actually differs or even oppose the views and the findings of a similar study. So this immediately will catch the attention of the reader, because it's like, oh, basically you have a different view, you found something different, so this got to be interesting. And this will bring me to the next point, which is do not be afraid to highlight controversies. All right, so if there is a disagreement on a topic that has been ongoing, state it so, and then say how your study would actually address this controversy, and basically how it will clarify this topic that has been ongoing in terms of an argument between two sides. Now, remember earlier on, I said that, in the last part of your cover letter, you would want to talk about your conclusion. Now, there's a little bit of a tip to basically add on to this conclusion part. So instead of saying, for example, this is the first study to demonstrate a certain, phenomenon or finding, add on a little bit more, and that is highlight why your study and your findings are interesting to the journal's readership. So this is where it differs from the abstract, because the abstract is basically a summary of your study. But in the cover letter, give them a little bit more, and that is highlight to them why your study would appeal to the journal readership and why it should be considered for acceptance. So how do you go about doing that? Go to the aims and scope section of the, on the journal's homepage, usually, and typically all journals would have a section of about aims and scope. Pick out some of the keywords, all right? From there, you will have a very good sense of who are the readerships of that journal. Perhaps engineers, perhaps clinical researchers, even patients or policymakers, just for example. Put those in and actually justify why, for example, your study would say appeal to policymakers, or for example, engineers, you could say, well, because we have created or we have come up with this new protocol, for a certain process or to fabrication of a certain product. So that's why this would be of appeal to engineers, because they could learn something new and they could adopt a new technique from this study. Something like that would actually give that little extra touch to your cover letter and to your study to increase its appeal and also to highlight why it is great and why it should be considered for acceptance.